Welcome back to ADHD Skills with Jess and Alex. She's Jess, I'm Alex, and today we're talking about finding quality ADHD information. It's ADHD Awareness Month. We need to spread the word, but we need to spread reliable words on ADHD. So, Jess, what do you take into consideration when you're talking about ADHD information and finding those reliable sources of information?
Yeah, for sure. A couple things that I like to just kind of keep in mind is if I find someone that I like maybe an influencer online, I make a note of that because if I like what they're saying and they just keep my attention, then I'm obviously going to remember what they're saying. But when doing that, I make sure that they're credible and I also look into where they're getting their source of material from. Are they just saying it based off of experience because have ADHD? Are they saying it based off of resources they've read? So I really kind of look into their profile a little bit. Also, I would say that different organizations that are out there. I think that that's really, really helpful because different organizations and Add2 magazine and everything, they have multiple people going in and writing articles that are very beneficial. So it's very nice to kind of have a balance of both because then you can compare, contrast, and figure out what works best for you. But also, it's just more information. So I find that to be really, really helpful. What about you?
Yeah, I liked what you said about, verifying your influencer because there are some out there with bad information. There are some out there with really good information. So you kind of have to be careful. And that's why organizations like Chad, ADA are so important because they're the ones leading the charge on providing good information. The other thing I'll say is you need to find a balance between opinion and fact because you can get really into, oh, these are the facts, but you can also get really into opinions. And opinions are great, but they're just opinions, they're not facts. So when you come across someone who's like, oh, ADHDers are this or that, make sure you know what they're saying, make sure they know what they're saying. It could be a theory that holds merit to a lot of people with ADHD, but it could be something a little less reliable. So you need to look at the facts, make sure they line up with the opinions, and you've got different ways of looking at the facts too. People will put their own spin on what it means, and you need to find a balance between that. So two names I really like are Dr. Russell Barkley and Dr. Ned Hallowell, both very important people in the ADHD world. But Hallowell is very optimistic about ADHD, and Russell Barkley at least has a reputation of being somewhat pessimistic about ADHD. And you need a balance of both because the work Barkley has done with, say, the life expectancy of people with ADHD has been really eye opening and really brings awareness to the seriousness of managing your ADHD. However, you've also got to balance that with Dr. Ned Hallowell, who has also done some great things. And his whole thing is it's a gift. I am somewhere in the middle because there are things that are good that come from our ADHD traits, and there are things that are bad that come from our ADHD traits. So really, it's about how you manage it. And if you look at, say, Dr. Ned Hallowell and a Russell Barkley, and you use both perspectives to formulate your own opinion, that's going to give you a better idea of what is true for you. Because that's the other thing. ADHD affects everyone differently. So you have to take the general information and apply it to your specific situation. Does that make sense, Jess?
No, for sure, definitely does. And I think remembering that ADHD affects everyone differently and honing on how it affects you. If you don't agree with what someone's saying, that's okay. That doesn't mean they're wrong, you're wrong. It just means it didn't hit you the same way it's hitting them. And that's okay. But it doesn't mean to totally dismiss what they're saying. It doesn't mean you need to totally accept it. Just remind yourself that it's important to find credible sources. And it's also important to, if you find someone you like, look up and see where they're getting the information from. I think that that's just very important to hone in. But also remember that a good balance, like you said.
Yes. And also remember what is the goal of the person who is giving the information? Are they doing it to help people or are they
Mhm.
doing it to line their own pockets? Very important distinction because there are some let's call them bad actors out there who are promoting things that line their own pockets. And then there are some people who are out there saying, hey, this is what I've tried. This is what's helped me. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't help you, here's some other options, you know?
Yes, for sure. So I'd be interested to see if anyone is following any influencers, any organizations. Feel free to drop it in the chat. We'd definitely like to hear. And it's good eye open, different experience, and also another way is just sharing with other people. So
Yeah.
definitely helpful.
Let us know who you follow and where you get your information. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. She's been Jess. I've been Alex. This is ADHD Skills with Jess and Alex. Thanks for watching.